Okay. Got me on one leg.
Oh.
Sure. Here we go. Hey, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Happy day number 2. Hope everyone is having a great start to their day so far. So first and foremost, before we dive in, as always, please do hop into the chat, say hi and where you are tuning in from today. We have a lot to cover in day number 2. We're going to be talking about, first and foremost, how to explode the size of your LinkedIn network, because your net worth is directly correlated to your network and vice versa. And if you build the right network, you're going to get great results. If you have the wrong network, you can't expect much to happen, and that's not what we want. The other thing is we're going to be diving into the assessment that everybody took. So drop a Y or a yes if you not only did the accountability assignment for your profile, but you also did the second part of that, which is taking the assessment. Drop a Y or a yes or an N or a no. If you did not, that's okay. You can still update your profile throughout. And again, you can still take the assessment as well, because it's really important, because you do get a copy of the results, which kind of shows you some interesting things in regards to maybe some of the aspects of your business that you need to focus on, some holes and gaps that are there. Now, before we jump in further, drop into the chat, what was your biggest takeaway from day 1 in the fact of updating your profile, and maybe some of the features that you didn't know about? So share in the chat with everyone, what was the biggest takeaway or takeaways that you had from what we did yesterday in updating keywords, searchable terms, pronunciation audio. Yep. Creator mode. Yep. Now, just some general housekeeping. Obviously, we're going to go over this again. Just remember that 7 a.m. every morning, you're going to get a replay email. And that link is the same link that you're going to use each day. It's a replay page that we created, and you're just going to see a new recording populated on that. So you don't have to download anything new. You can literally go back to the email from day 1 and open that up every single day. Click on the link, and it's going to open up, and you'll see all the replays there. I also created a section within the Facebook group that it says guides. It's at the top. So if you're not yet in the Facebook group, Nancy's going to drop the link in the chat. Make sure that you do request to join. So if you click on the guides section, it's at the very top of the Facebook group. You'll see day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and now day 6. So for anyone that wasn't here for day number 1, you can watch the replay, and you can just kind of plug into that. Replays are available until next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. But also, if you missed yesterday and you're here today for the first time, drop a Y or a yes in the chat if this is you missed yesterday, but you're here today, just to see how many new people are here with us that were not a part of day number 1. Awesome. Now, the one thing that someone asked yesterday, could they share the link that they used to register and send that to their network or some maybe colleagues that could get benefit and value from this? Absolutely. It's free to register. So if there are people that you want to join this, that they could benefit from this, by all means. That's why we record it, so people can go back and they can watch the replay. So feel free. All this week, you can share the link with how you registered with other people, so they can join us as well. Another reminder, obviously, you get the 4 emails a day. You get the replay email, 1-hour warning, 15-minute warning, and we are live. So again, don't unsubscribe. Don't report spam, because then you'll stop getting all of our emails altogether. And if you have not yet gotten any of the emails, check your junk or spam. Sometimes they do get sent there. And the workbook is now attached to every single email. So if you don't have it yet, just go back through any of the emails that were sent to you and you can find it there. And we also did put it in the private Facebook group. It's under the Files tab, and you can download it right then and there. So if everybody is clear on all of that so far, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Awesome. Now, before we share the slides, we're going to do the same thing that we did yesterday. There's going to be some slides. We're going to talk through some things, kind of go over the foundations of everything. And then we're going to do a live look onto LinkedIn of what we do and how we use it. Now, two things that I want to kind of get ahead of before we dive into today. Number one is the strategy that you guys are going to be following on LinkedIn is very simple. We strive not to make things complicated or overwhelming. But what I will tell you is that the results that you wish to get on LinkedIn are completely predicated on the connections that you have. 100%. If you have the wrong connections, number one, they're not going to accept your connection request. Number two, they're not going to respond to a message. And number three, it's not going to lead to either a business collaboration or it's not going to lead to any sort of business result that you're looking for, whether it's a new client, a partnership, a sale, any of that. So it's really, really important for you to make sure that you are building the right kind of network. Now, type into the chat, scale 1 to 10. 10 being you have the ideal network, things are working. 1 being I need some help in that department. Where would you guys rate yourselves on a scale of 1 to 10 of where you feel your network is right now on LinkedIn? Awesome. So kind of middle of the road. So this is where the clarity is going to come into play. And what I'll tell you is that the other thing transparently that's going on with LinkedIn, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this. We talked about this yesterday about the 18 paragraph long drunkalog verbal vomit messages that people continue to send and try to sell us and pitch us. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And what it's doing is it's pushing a lot of people away, and it's making people more skeptical than ever about getting on calls. So the process of building relationships, building rapport, and building trust is going to take a little bit longer. Now, with that being said, if you treat your business and what you're doing on LinkedIn like a 401k or any sort of retirement fund, you're going to be doing things the right way. Because anyone that knows anything about investing, you invest for the long term. You're not looking for get rich quick type of things. We see these marketing tactics all the time. Oh, you can make 6 figures in 6 weeks. That's BS. You can't. All the things that go into building a successful business, they take time. They're not overnight. So if you're willing to take the long game and the incremental approach that we're going over, you're going to absolutely crush it on LinkedIn. I can promise you. The one thing that I will also say to this is if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So people will market themselves and things that they do to try to get a sale. But what we want all of you to understand and want you to realize is that really look inside and just say to yourself, I don't know about this. This doesn't sound like something that's really going to work. It sounds too good to be true. It sounds too easy. Now, the approach that we're teaching you this week is easy, but it takes time. Has anyone ever read the book, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy? Just type a Y or a yes or an N or a no. If you have not, go on to Amazon and order that book today. It's amazing. And amongst the amazing things that Darren talks about in this book, he talks about what the compound effect is, which is slow incremental things that compound over time to get to the end result that you're looking for. And it's called the compound effect. And what I can tell you is The approach that we have and what you're going to learn all this week is the compound effect. So if you guys are ready to dive in, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. And as always, we're announcing the first 2 homework winners at the end of today. And there's going to be 2 homework winners announced tomorrow. And remember, you have till 12:30 Eastern to submit your accountability assignment. There will be a post at the top of the newsfeed of the Facebook group that's going to say Nancy's day 2 homework thread. Make sure you drop your accountability assignment in there. Some people just posted it in the group, which was fine. We saw them, but we collect everything in the thread that we post in there. So make sure you look for the thread that says day 2 Nancy's homework thread, and it's going to clearly say what the homework assignment is. Make sure you drop it there. So if everybody is clear on that, just type the word clear in the chat. Just want to make sure everybody is clear on that. Awesome. Beautiful. All right, so we're going to get the slides up as we always do. Give me one moment. And present. I'm going to hide the video panel. I'm going to hide the video panel, just so we make sure that all video and audio is working. Please drop a Y or a yes in the chat if you can see us, or if you can hear us clearly. Beautiful. Okay. So this is the second step. And these are the simple steps to building your ideal client and power partner network. Now, for those that took the business quiz assessment, share into the chat, what was your biggest takeaway from that? Because I know it only took a couple minutes to fill out, but we really got, deep into certain things. What did you take away most from that assessment? Maybe it was the results that it produced. Maybe it, I need to work. I have lots of work to do. Keywords, how much more I need to do. I've got a lot of work to do. I have a lot to do. Yeah. And just to let everybody know, it is okay to feel overwhelmed during the workshop. Just to let you, whenever you're learning something new, it's absolutely normal to feel a little bit overwhelmed. Think about anything that you have done for the very first time. It could sometimes be a daunting task. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like there's so much to do, just understand that is normal. You're supposed to be feeling that way. And I don't want you to see it as overwhelm. What I want you to see it as, I'm ready to grow. Because if you were not feeling overwhelmed, well, you kind of maybe knew some of the stuff, but if you weren't feeling any sort of overwhelm, then you may have to ask yourself, okay, am I really ready for something more? And if you just type a Y or yes if you were feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Y or yes if you were feeling a little bit overwhelmed. It's a positive thing if you were, because it's something new that you're learning, and that, take it as a positive. Do not take it as a negative. Now, as Nancy alluded to before, this was the first time that we ever used an assessment to help people identify the holes and gaps that can then be applied to their LinkedIn profile and all of the other strategies that we're going to go over. So I actually want to turn it over to Nancy because she has some things to kind of touch on that is going to clear out the cobwebs of not only some additional things that we should be adding to our profile all throughout this week and beyond, but the things that we're going to be going over today, which is your network. Tomorrow is messaging and closing sales calls. The next day is obviously the content you need to create. And Friday, obviously, the routine that you have. And don't forget, what time is our bonus Q&A session on Saturday morning Eastern Standard Time? What time is that session? 11 a.m. Yes, same link. You can use the same Zoom. Don't worry about, we'll send an email, obviously, reminder, but it's at 11 a.m., 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern. And we're going to send out a form towards the end of the week. Pre-submit your question. So Nance, let's talk about the assessment and obviously what that means with everything that we're doing on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So like Scott said, this is our first time doing it. And I want to put it out there because I think a lot of people, right, we take quizzes or assessments and we're like, okay, cool, we're done. But everyone should have received a copy of their results of the assessment after you took it. I want you guys to use this as an action plan. Okay. And with everything, and like Scott said, sometimes it can be overwhelming, really looking at what we kind of have in front of us. And LinkedIn is just a little piece of the puzzle, right? So obviously, that's what we're kind of covering this week. We're digging into LinkedIn, how you use LinkedIn. Today, we're getting into how to actually build your connections and your network and all that good stuff. But take those assessment results and, like I said, use it as an action plan, right? And if you want to start with LinkedIn, we've got a whole little section right on that assessment for LinkedIn. That's a great place to start, right? That's going to be sales and lead generating activities. Everything else for the rest of 2024, I really want you guys to dig in and see what you can slowly, right? Doesn't have to be done in one day. But the things that you can add into your business. So as far as the results, right, we got a lot of great information and we're going to kind of touch on a few things. One, we're going to obviously dig into strategies that work. Right. Today we're going to talk about networking and growing. And we're also going to share some success stories because we want to show you guys what is possible. And we're going to give you real life, true cases that have happened, in fact, in the last year and this year already. So some of the most common things that we saw from the assessment, right? We kind of pulled everything together. And some of the big common themes that really stuck out were, from a mindset standpoint, right? A lot of people who have, limiting beliefs, maybe they are fearful of putting themselves out there or jumping on sales calls, maybe imposter syndrome.
If
Yeah.
you're done.
Yep. And, obviously some of the other focuses, right, are leveraging LinkedIn, how to actually leverage LinkedIn, how to include it in your sales process and inbound marketing activities, creating content, right, that sets you apart, right? We want to stand out. And right now with AI running rampant, I do studies all the time of how AI is affecting marketing. We need personalized, really good content, right? And there's a way you, being the expert in your space, can really set yourself apart, right? So that is a common thing that's popping up. Generating consistent leads, organization and accountability, right? So these are some of the big ones that really bubbled to the surface.
Yeah. So in looking at the sticky notes on the screen right now, type in the chat, which one did you resonate most with? Like which one of these, if you had to pick one of the 7 on here, which is your Achilles heel with your business right now? Because again, there's fear, limiting beliefs, right? So we all have generating leads, fear, limiting beliefs, consistent leads, limiting beliefs. Yeah, awesome. Well, first and foremost, we want to just honor each and every one of you. Number one, for doing the accountability assignment, but also taking this assessment because it's so important to take that 10,000-foot view of your business and where you are. But understanding what you need help with is an unbelievable trait to have because when people don't admit that they need help with something like, oh, I got it, or it's all going to work itself out, and you try to go it alone, that's when you consistently keep those tires spinning and you get stuck in the mud. And we want people to run as quickly as they want forward, unlocking all of those things that they want to get done so they can improve their business.
Absolutely. And again, I want to remind you guys, you're not alone. If you're feeling, fearful or you've got those limiting beliefs, things like that, right? Those are things that we do have to work on, right? We've got to keep getting better because we know, and in fact, we talk about it all the time. If we're not confident in the value that we bring and that we offer to people, people can smell that from a mile away,
Yeah.
right? So being confident in what you offer and how you support and you help people can be a complete game changer just alone, in your business. So here are some other things, that people actually put down, and again, these are very real, struggles that business owners commonly face. Even if you're not a business owner, if you're a consultant, if you're a sales rep, if you are a real estate agent, right?
Service provider.
Service provider in general, right? These are all things that we all have at some point or continually have to work on or struggle with. Okay. So again, just you're not alone. But the one that if today, by end of day today, we could really get across to everyone is for anyone who answered on that assessment that you are not committed to growing your business, we just need to have a conversation about that real quick, because if you're kind of dipping your toe in and you're dipping your toe out, you're kind of dipping your toe in, you're not going to be successful, right? And this is the hard truth. And we do want to kind of give a little bit of tough love today, because guys, if you are not committed to your business, nothing else is going to work, right? We're going to have days where we don't feel like doing anything, and we're going to have days where we maybe feel a little more motivated than others. If you are not committed, today is the day to decide, is this really for you?
So let's be open and honest, because that's what we're all about. If you feel that you could work on the commitment level that you have with your business, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. If you feel like, you want to be at a 10, but you're not. Okay. Awesome. Well, first and foremost,
I appreciate the honesty.
yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how rewarding that is for Nancy and myself to know that all of you on here are very honest and transparent people, because that's what it's all about. Admitting that we need to work on our commitments is going to propel you to new heights. So even if it's just wrapping your mind around that, like if I just move the needle a little bit forward to being a 10 and being committed, I'm going to see a result.
Absolutely. So, couple facts here that we just wanted to share, right? Often, this is one of the quotes that I read that I really liked is, a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor, right? We're going to have to endure rocky waters. We're going to have to learn new things. Things can be uncertain at times, but that actually helps us grow. Okay. So like Scott said, where today and this week might feel a little overwhelming, that's usually when we're growing, right? When you're feeling uncomfortable, oftentimes that's when we need to lean in a little and we need to learn, because I promise you, if you do these things consistent, if you stay up to date with LinkedIn, you follow the steps. In fact, Friday, we're going to go over the 20-minute routine that you can do every day. And it's easy. I promise you, it might not seem easy at first, but I promise you it will get easier and easier. And then the other fact is, you're not always going to be motivated. So if you're kind of looking at your business as, I'm kind of interested in doing this, I'm not really committed, you have got to be committed. Because if you aren't committed to your goals, oh man, I cannot stress enough, you are going to be challenged often. You're going to be knocked off your path. There's going to be things that pop up.
Shiny
There's
objects.
going to be days where you just can't. You got to be committed, and you got to stay focused on what it is that you want. I mean, we had this conversation on Monday. You can change your life in a matter of months.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, when I first started growing my business and when I first started, I was in what felt like a bottomless hole. I mean, I had student loan debt. I was trying to cover my mortgage. I was renting out rooms in my house. I was doing everything that I could, scratching and clawing, racking up credit card debt, trying to stay afloat as I was building my business. But I kept going. I kept pushing, and I was committed because I had a vision of what I wanted my business to be, of what I wanted my life to be, and I worked my butt off. Okay. So we have got to be committed, and we cannot keep crawling back, right? I say, stop crawling back in your hermit crab shell. When things get hard, stop retreating, right? When things are uncomfortable,
Lean in.
Okay. I know it's the ostrich effect, right? We put our head in the sand, but whatever it is, everything can be accomplished. It's a matter of setting the goal and just picking, certain steps, right? So again, everything on that assessment, you can work backwards, right? What are simple little steps you can do to put in place? And then the last fact I'll just share is, if you are not confident in your commitment and the value that you offer, people are not going to buy. Okay. I said it before, people could smell it a mile away. I say this all the time. Okay. Like, if you don't know how you help people and you don't feel confident in that, that's step one, because we got to get that mindset right so that we can really crush it and do amazing things in our business. So with all that being said, again, I shared a little bit about my story. It is an ongoing thing. Okay. And it's true, right? We ourselves have struggled. Okay. We have what we call seasons, right? Where things are really great. And then we have seasons where maybe, again, we don't feel like doing certain things, or, we have seasons where maybe it's like, why isn't this working anymore? It happens. And we have seen so many professionals struggle and then get everything together, get the systems in place, get the business in place, and literally quadruple their businesses.
So before we kind of dive into the short, quick little testimonials here really quickly. For a lot of the people that don't know, there were, and I'm just going to candidly share this really quickly.
Yeah.
Every business owner has obstacles that they need to overcome. And we had a big obstacle to overcome in 2022, and we had a big obstacle to overcome in 2023. This is the truth. 2022, Nancy has shared this before, she was diagnosed with kidney cancer. And that rocked us because obviously she's healthy, she's great, there's no more cancer, but it required us to really take a step back and really look at what we were doing. But at the same time, we couldn't lose focus of our goals. Couldn't lose focus of our goals. And our business still grew from 2022 to 2023. Fast forward 2023, we got rocked again. Many of you have heard me share this. My father, her father-in-law, was diagnosed with a rare form of brain cancer last February that literally consumed 8 months of our year last year, running back and forth through doctor visits, through chemotherapy treatments, running to his house, all of those things. We had to make sure that we still kept our eyes on the prize. And I don't know if other business owners talk about this, but to think about nothing is going to pop up and come your way, it will. So just understand that, you may look at us and say, oh, they got it completely together.
Oh, no problems.
They've never had to face adversity. We share a lot on social media, but we share more privately like this with all of you because it's a safe space. But you have to understand, we've been through it and we've come out better on the other side, just like every single one of you.
Yeah. And it's so funny, like just again, and we're going to jump into networking in just a second. And I do want to share, right, these success stories just to show you guys what's possible. But, I used to be that person who, if I had a doctor's appointment, that was my whole day, right? That was it. And it's like, I had a doctor's appointment for like 1 hour and then the rest of the day was open, but that was like my main thing, right? We, again, cannot stress enough, right? It's got to take the commitment, it's got to take the systems, having systems in place, having the routine. So again, I know there's a lot of mindset stuff, but I just think it is number one, probably the most important work that you can do, especially as an entrepreneur, as you lead into building and growing your business and generating leads on LinkedIn.
The 6 inches between your ears will either help your business or it will hurt your business, and the choice is yours.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk about, so we have a high-level group coaching program many of you know about, and we just wanted to these are individuals that were in our program, still are, that went to the next level with what we taught. Janice, she's in golf fitness. She does online programs just by following our LinkedIn strategy and what we helped her with her profile and everything else. She immediately was contacted by one of the top golf clubs in all of Arizona, in Phoenix, and they contracted her to work and help their staff and their members of the club. She was also recently featured in Golf Digest. That is the number one golf publication in the world, and she was featured in there. She exploded her network, and she's about to launch her online course because of the strategy of what she focused on LinkedIn. Now, Teresa, another one of our great stories, she 5x'd her revenue in 12 months. She went from about $50K a year to almost $300,000 in 12 months following our strategy, launched a new program. She recently launched this with our strategy, pre-sold 50% of it before it even went out there, launching her podcast, and again, exploded her network on LinkedIn. Nina, another rock star. She's in the nursing education space. She secured multiple 5-figure contracts. One is up on the screen here, a $12,000 contract she got from a referral on LinkedIn. She recently sent off a $50,000 proposal, and she's picking up leads from her LinkedIn newsletter.
Yeah, this person who she sent the 50,000 proposal to was from a newsletter. They actually read the newsletter and were reached out to her and said, you have exactly what I need.
So these are all simple principles that we're teaching, not just today, but in our up-level program. Gary, another rock star that we work with, followed our strategy, released a #1 new book within his zone of genius in law practice, leveraging LinkedIn to do so. He launched his podcast, shares it all the time on there. He picks up clients routinely from his LinkedIn newsletter and his LinkedIn events that he does every single month. He's growing his clientele base. He's got reoccurring revenue. And again, he's consistent with just following what we teach. The most common thing we hear is just do what Scott and Nancy say to do, because it works. That's literally, If you were to reach out to any of the people that we've worked with, they will tell you that. Like, just do what they say because they're blazing the trail, they're leading the way, and it works. So let's get into exploding your network on LinkedIn. So if you're ready to do so, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Awesome. This is where it gets fun. This is where it gets fun. So what we have to understand is you need to make sure, and you just need to make sure, again, I send this very early on. You have to be clear with who you're connecting with. You need to send connection requests to find your audience, not just to accumulate connections who don't share common interests or ways to do business together. The second thing, you need to be specific on the days that you search to find highly targeted connections and power partners, or what we call business allies. It's better to have a smaller, highly focused network to connect with than a large network with fewer things in common with. And I see this all the time. Now, the one thing that I will say, type in the chat, do you use the free version of LinkedIn or one of the paid versions? So just type in free or paid, just so I can gauge the room a little bit, because we use the free version, which this is based on. If you do have the paid version, it's not a big deal. It's, again, people can spend whatever money they want to spend, but what we're going to be teaching you is based on the free version, because you can leverage it. That's how we've grown and scaled our business. Now, the third and final thing is when you are searching, and I'm going to show you in real time today, just as I always do, filtering by second connections to really narrow down your search. And these are the people that you're connected to that you're already, you don't want to connect with people that you're already connected to because you can't. It's a great way to build your own network through the existing connections that you have. So it's your first connections, or friends of friends. Now, some questions that you need to ask yourselves before you get into the building of your network. Number one is, who would I have the most genuine conversation with? So I want you to think about these questions first. And it's not that Sales Navigator is not important. Sales Navigator is for, I would say, a great example is for insurance brokers that are looking to target a certain type of company that has a certain amount of employees and yearly revenue, because maybe they do employee benefits and such.
Yeah, I would say Sales Navigator, the the perks of that, because again, if people are using Sales Navigator, it's awesome. But again, the free version is amazing. Sales Navigator does help you kind of keep everybody all together. You can create lists. You do get to dig into additional searches. But the whole fact of the matter is, though, you don't get to do extra connections.
Yeah.
It's the same amount
thing.
of connections, right? So it doesn't give you extra connections. You still have to follow the LinkedIn guidelines.
Yeah, and what I always recommend for coaches and consultants using the free version, I mean, again, you could use the paid, but Sales Navigator and such is better for people that are looking to connect with direct contacts to large scale companies with a certain amount of employees and a certain amount of yearly revenue based on that. Now, the other thing that you have to think about, and after these 4 questions, I'm going to prompt you in the chat, who would I have the most authentic connection with? So you get on a phone or a Zoom and you just hit it off right away. The other thing that you have to think about is who would find the most value in the content that you're going to create. So the content that you're going to create, who would find the most value in that? And fourth and final, who would best support my business as a referral source? Nancy and I get referrals all the time. We get introductions to people all the time because we value one of the most important aspects of business that we want you to value, and that is called relationship marketing. So what I want you to do now, type into the chat from a profession or industry only standpoint. So it either has to be a professional title or industry title. Who is the best ideal client for you per profession or per industry? Type that into the chat right now if you know who that is, because this is going to help really clarify exactly what it is that you need to do. Health related businesses, VP of software, business owners, female business owners, personal trainers, real estate, health professionals, music teachers, health and wellness professionals, trust attorneys. Awesome. That is the first step. Clearly identifying your target market is going to lead you to have greater success on LinkedIn than not identifying your target market. The second thing I want to ask you, who from a profession or industry only title, who is best to connect with that could send you referrals and vice versa? So type that in the chat. From an industry or profession only standpoint, who would best send you referrals? Entrepreneurs needing marketing services, senior managers or CEOs, HR coordinators, lifestyle attorneys, hotel sales managers, PAC and HR. Awesome. Directors, executive consultants, HR managers. Beautiful. So now that those seeds have been planted, now we have to go over the strategy. Now, to find those connection avatars, there are 3 additional things that you could do, and I'm going to show you this live, obviously, as we're going to do each and every day, is you can filter by the connections that you have that you're looking to connect with by location. You can filter the connections by a specific company that you want to engage with. You can filter the connections by multiple job titles or multiple professions. So those are some things to think about each day. Now, so let's talk about the commitment that you need to have to do this. So you need to commit to doing something every day, Monday through Friday, to build your network. No Saturday and Sunday. The big thing is this. If you don't consistently send connections daily on LinkedIn, guess what will not happen? Fill in the blank. What will not happen if you don't send connection requests every day? Someone knows the answer. Nothing will happen.
Yep.
That's it. If you're not growing your network, you're not growing your business. If you're not growing your network, you're not growing your business. So I'm going to take you through this strategy, but what you want to do is, I call this the bookend theory. So if anybody knows what bookends are, you have your bookends and then you have the books in between. So Monday and Friday are your bookends. Those are your searches. Mondays, you can search for an ideal client or a power partner, and the opposite on Friday. So you can do, your power partner if you didn't do that on Monday, or vice versa. So one of those days is dedicated to your ideal client. One of those days is dedicated to the power partner. So if everybody is clear on that, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Reason being, with the free version of LinkedIn, you are only allowed 12 to 15 searches per 30 days. So if you're doing 2 searches per week, that's 8 searches per month, you'll be under that limit, so you won't use up all your searches. Now, as you can see on the screen, on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, you will then send your connections out to the My Network area on LinkedIn. Now, how many of you know what the My Network section is on LinkedIn? Good. And I'm going to show you where it is. It's there for everyone to use. And this is basically the My Network area are suggested connections, just like on Facebook where they give you suggested friends. LinkedIn will give you suggested connection based on your profile and your current network that you have.
We're going to show them.
And we're going to show you. So don't worry if you don't know. I'll show you exactly where it is.
Yeah. And I do want to throw in, just because, again, for anyone starting from scratch, when we say searches, one search can be so impactful.
Oh, yeah.
Like imagine, right, if you type in coaches in the Philadelphia area. I mean, we've seen thousands of results show up. So it's not like, you want to do a million searches a day.
You can use the same search
Yep.
over and over again.
Correct.
So you want to do these specific searches to find people with your shared interest and business commonalities, but don't exceed 12 to 15 searches per month. With the paid version of LinkedIn, yes, you get unlimited searches. So I would say the only benefit that I have seen and heard from people with LinkedIn Premium is you're allowed unlimited searches, but the strategy that we've created, you don't really need to search every day because your My Network area is going to be a direct reflection of the type of people that you want to connect with.
Well, and we want to keep this simple,
Yeah.
right? You shouldn't be doing a million bajillion searches, right? We want to be super focused. And, we did this with a client the other day and literally just searched for like a certain industry. and it was like 10,000 people came up. So if you can only connect with so many people, it's going to take a while to get through just that one search.
And the search filters you don't have to use, but if you are a local business that needs to do belly to belly type of stuff, then like Jeremiah, who was in our mastermind, he's generated close to $3 million in revenue in his business by following our LinkedIn strategy for his local business in Detroit, because he wanted to say, can you guys help me really put all the wheels in motion with building everything out, using LinkedIn as my sales and networking hub, and then exploding everything else. And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah. And you don't always have to search by location. You can just search by job title. You have options in there, which we are going to show you an example of that.
Now, the other thing is that you want to have a marker so you can kind of keep track of where your connections are, which I'm going to show you. So you want to see where your network is growing to and from. This will help you not miss any connections. And LinkedIn does now timestamp where your connections are and how recently they accepted your connection. So you'll always know where you left off, which we're obviously going to show you that in real time as well.
Yep. And just to, so a lot of people might already have something in place like a CRM. They might have a spreadsheet, right? That you guys go through, and maybe as you're making connections, you just kind of note the names in a spreadsheet. There's lots of different ways people do this. Sometimes we've got people using an old-fashioned note card, whatever works for you. But what he means by marker is just a place where you left off.
Placeholder.
And we're going to show you.
Yeah. I mean, you can use an Excel spreadsheet, or you could just write the name down like in a notebook, whatever you want to do. Now, just things that you want to make sure is you don't want to connect with just anyone. You need to be specific so you don't get your connection ignored. That could trigger something on LinkedIn to actually block you. Make sure you don't get connection happy. Too many sent connection requests can get you blocked. You can only send 100 connection requests per week. That is why we suggest sending 14 to 18 connection requests per day, Monday through Friday. So if you guys are clear on that, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. 14 to 18 connections a day, Monday through Friday.
No sending out 1 million connections and getting blocked.
You're going to get
There's
blocked.
a reason why.
If you send out more than 100 in a week, they will ding you and you will get restricted for a day from sending connection requests. You can only send 100 requests with every version of LinkedIn, whether it's free or paid.
Yep,
you can't send more than
everything.
Can't send more than 100. If you send more than 100, you'll get dinged and you'll get blocked for a day from sending. If you do it a second time, they will restrict you for a week. You do it for a third time, they'll restrict you for a month. And if you do it for a fourth time, Constance just said it, she was locked up for 60 days.
Yep.
If you do it a fourth time, they will restrict you for life from ever being able to send connection requests ever again. That is why, type in the chat, how many connection requests are you sending every day, Monday through Friday? Type it in the chat. There it is. 14 to 18. That is it. 14 to 18 connections every day, Monday through Friday. Another trivia question. What 2 days are you searching on LinkedIn? Type it in the chat. There it is. Monday and Friday. Love it. What is the section on LinkedIn called where you're sending your connections Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday? My network. Awesome. Love it. I love when people are on the ball. Now, let me go back really quickly. I am going to go on to LinkedIn. Okay. So let's dive in. So first and foremost, let's go over the searching criteria. So even though today is Tuesday, okay, we're going to pretend it's a Monday. Now, before you start sending out your connections, and you guys are all, you're all going to do this today, okay, and tomorrow moving forward. This aspect of what we're teaching you right now, the 14 to 18 connections, you're going to do it today in the workshop. You're going to do it tomorrow in the workshop, Thursday and Friday. This is now part of your routine. You need to consistently grow your network. So if everybody is on board with what I just said, doing this every day, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. From this day forward, you are never not going to send 14 to 18 connections Monday through Friday. From this day forward, you want your network to grow. You want your business to grow. This is the beginning stages of that, because tomorrow we're actually going to show you what to do with the new connections that you have, the messages that you should be sending, and how to book more sales calls to close more sales. Now, the beautiful thing about this is that as long as you block out literally 3 minutes in the morning, you'll be able to do this. Just block out 3 minutes.
You can do it on your phone.
Yeah, it's 180 seconds and you'll be able to send these connections. So before you do anything, I'm just going to show you right here. I'm going to click on the My Network area right on the top. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Manage My Network, and you're going to see my connections right here, 27,000. So you can see right here, Zach is my most recent connection. We connected 4 days ago. Okay. So that is what we call our marker, because when I send my 14 to 18 connections right now, and I want to learn about who my newest connections are, what name am I going to look for? I'm going to look for Zach. And if Zach's name is now 4 below and there's 4 names above, guess what? I have 4 new connections. So if everybody is clear on that, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. The other thing is do not, and I repeat, do not ever send a note with a connection request to someone that you don't know. If you don't know the person, you just hit connect. The times that you do want to add a note is if you actually know the person.
Like, hey, we just met at this event.
Or, hey, Scott, I'm attending your and Nancy's workshop. Would love to connect. Or, hey, Scott, I listened to your podcast. Would love to connect further. Or, hey, Scott, I read your book. Would love to connect further. Or, hey, Scott, your wife, Nancy, told me that we should connect. Looking forward to it. Too many people are getting sold and pitched to in the notes of connection requests that they're not accepting connection requests now because they know what's coming. They see it as a bait and switch. It's all automated. And now they put a limitation on how many notes you can actually add to a connection request. Just hit connect. If everybody is clear on that, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. I can't say this any more clearly. Do not add a note. Don't overthink it. Just click connect.
And when Scott first taught me this, I was like, oh, well, I'm still going to send messages. Trust me, it works so much better if you just send the connection, because we're going to talk about the messages you send after that. But seriously, like you said, don't overthink it. Trust me.
Please don't.
Yeah.
Do not do it. The first point of contact that you should have with someone is just sending that first initial message after they accept. You don't want to send a message to someone that you're not yet connected with. The time that you send a message, the first point of contact, the first verbiage that person should see from you is after they accepted your initial connection request, not before. Because people are getting sold and pitched to, so they are more reluctant to respond to a connection request that has a note compared to one that doesn't have a note. Okay? So again, I don't want you guys overthinking about this anymore. You're just going to hit connect. Drop a Y or a yes if you're on board. Again, this works. We've helped people grow and scale to multiple 7 figures following this methodology. We know what we're doing. This is what we've been teaching. This is what I've been teaching since 2013. Awesome. So now I have my marker. I'm going to do a search. So for me, podcast hosts are great power partners for me and or potential clients too. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to search business podcast host, and I'm going to hit return. Okay. And this is where the filters come into place. So first and foremost, I'm going to select people on the far left. I don't want posts. I don't want jobs. I just want people. So if everyone can see where it says people, just type a Y or a yes in the chat. Y or yes. Yeah. So I'm going to hit people. Okay. Now it's going to filter by people only. Now you're going to see the second tab right here where it says connections. If everybody can see where it says connections, type a number 1 in the chat.
And remember, guys, you get the replay. So if you need to rewatch, today or the rest of this week, you can as well.
Awesome. So I'm going to drop the connections right down here, and you're going to see first, second, and third. First are existing connections. Third and plus, you need to send an in-mail with premium so it goes to the other inbox. Doesn't even go to the direct inbox, so it's a waste of time. Your second connections are the free people to connect with each and every day, Monday through Friday. Trivia question, how many connection requests are you sending per day, Monday through Friday? Type the answer in. There it is, 14 to 18. What 2 days are you searching? What are the 2 days that you're searching? Monday and Friday, that's right. And Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, what is the area on LinkedIn called where you're going to be doing those 14 to 18 connections from? The My Network area. So now I've done my search and I'm going to hit show results. All right.
Yeah.
Now, when I hit show results, this is going to give me all these different people. All these different people. Now, what I can do is you're going to see these connect buttons right here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit connect, send without a note. Connect, send without a note. I'm going to go to page 2. Don't worry about the people that have follow. Don't worry about that. I'm just going to hit connect. I'm going to scroll down. Small business, awesome. Connect, connect, podcast host, and connect. If everybody followed what I just did, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Awesome. And if you feel you can do exactly what I just did, type a number 1 in the chat. That's what you're going to do Monday and Friday. That's it. Monday and Friday, you're just going to go through and you're going to have the 14 to 18 connections sent out. That's it. That's all you have to do Monday and Friday. Now, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you're going to click the 2 little heads right up here. If everyone can see where it says My Network, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. And here's the big thing about LinkedIn. People end up overthinking this process rather than just going through this streamlined approach. I can promise you, everything that I'm teaching you guys is streamlined, simple, and it works. Don't overthink the process. So I'm going to click on My Network, and this is what you're going to do Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I'm going to scroll down here. So it's going to say, listen, reach out to the right people to grow your business. People that I may know in the greater Philadelphia area. People that may have went to college with me. And then I'm going to scroll down even further. People that I may know from a group that I'm in. People that may have similar roles. So these could be good power partners, right? So what I can do is I can look through and I'm like, okay, this person does redesign thinking. I'm going to click connect. This person's in marketing communications. We're in marketing. I'm going to click connect. I can go back up and I can look for people that marketing, branding, team leadership. Yeah, absolutely. I can go back up, marketing, new business development, connect. So I'm looking, you're not clicking on profiles, you're looking at their headline to see if there's commonalities in either a potential ideal client or a power partner, clicking 14 to 18 times Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. If you're clear on that, just drop a number 1 in the chat. I just want to make sure. That's what you're doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So now you're doing your 14 to 18 connections every day, Monday through Friday, the 2 ways that I just showed you. Monday and Friday through searching, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday through the My Network area. Now, since it's Tuesday, what you guys are going to do today is you're going to do it through the My Network area. Or since you haven't searched yet this week, if you haven't, then you can then do your search and send out your 14 to 18 connections that way. Now, type a Y or a yes if you are clear on all of what I just did. Beautiful. Now, there are some security measures that need to be taken, and we're going to be going over this towards the end of the week. So you need to make sure that, because again, I don't want any of you getting restricted. The first big restriction that you guys need to know about is how many connection requests in total you can send per week is. What's the total? 100. Yes. You can't go over 100.
Yeah, we don't want to see people getting blocked today.
Yep. That is why you are sending 14 to 18 connections. And remember, you have to be clear and specific. 100 per week.
Now, can someone break that up a little bit, or do you recommend the 18 per day?
Yeah,
Like, is
14 to
there-
18 per day. You actually want to be under 100. Don't be anywhere near it.
Like, but if you send too many in one day, it'll kind of flag.
Don't send 100 in one day. Break it up where you're doing 14 to 18 consistently Monday through Friday. So is that, if everyone is clear so far, just type the word clear in the chat. You're sending 14 to 18 connections every day, Monday through Friday. Monday, you're going to search. Tuesday, the My Network area. Wednesday, the My Network area. Thursday, the My Network area. And Friday, you're going to search. If everybody is clear on that, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. You are sending 14 to 18 connections every day, Monday through Friday. Monday and Friday searching, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the My Network area. Why this now gets fun? Why this now gets fun is because every new connection that accepts your request here on out is a possible connection to build your business, whether it's a potential client, customer, or a power partner. And what we're going to be going over tomorrow is, now that you've accumulated some new connections, which you all are, every single one of you, if you send your 14 to 18 today and you send your 14 to 18 tomorrow morning, you will have people to message tomorrow. But you're not going to message a soul until we go over what you should actually be saying in that message in day 3 tomorrow. We're going to be teaching you exactly what you need to send in the message. And there's 2 different types of messages that you may send. And we're going to go over both of them in real time. We're also going to go over the structure of the call, of what it actually sounds like when you are talking to people on the phone or on the Zoom. So remember, the only thing you're going to do today, type into the chat, what are you doing today? What is your goal to do today? How many? Yes, sending your 14, 18 connections. That's it. Now, since it's Tuesday, there it is. Trisha just wrote it, sending 14 to 18 requests through my network section. Exactly. So what are you guys going to do tomorrow since it's Wednesday? Type the answer in the chat. So what I'm doing is I'm creating brain tattoos for all of you. I am stamping this so deep into your brain, you're not going to forget. Yes, tomorrow you're doing the same thing. 14 to 18 connections through your My Network area. Trivia question. Come Friday morning, what are you guys going to do? Come Friday morning. Yes, you are going to search for your 14 to 18 connections. And really quickly, what are the 2 types of connections that you should be looking for? What did we call them? What are the 2 types? What are the 2 types of connections that you want to be looking for? Number 1 is ideal client and power partners. You guys got it. So this is the simplicity of what we are going to be going over this week. And we showed you all those slides of the people in our group program where we go into deeper context with all this.
It was all new for them at first too.
Every single one of them was new to LinkedIn before working with myself and Nancy. And you can see the proof is in the pudding, as they say.
Yeah. And, remember Friday, we're going to go over. So for those of you who are looking for like a visual, we're going over the specific routine, right?
Yep.
So we talked about connections today, but we're bringing it all together, so Friday, we're really going to have a nice little structure for you.
And just remember, power partners are people that you can network with, you can collaborate with, you can pass referrals back and forth. That's who they are. Now, we have 2 homework winners to announce, but before that, your accountability assignment, which will be posted in the Facebook group. It's going to say Nancy's Day 2 homework thread. All you have to do is comment below in that thread. I sent out my 14 to 18 connections. That's it. That's your accountability. Send your 14 to 18 connections. That's all you got to do. If everybody is clear on that, just type a Y or a yes in the chat. Awesome. That's it. That's all you got to do. Now, we're going to be announcing 2 more winners tomorrow. Make sure you get your accountability assignment done before 12:30 EST. Send your connections today and tomorrow moving forward. Our 2 winners from day number 1, Julianne Peach and Regina Andler. So you don't have to, we have your email addresses. We're sending out all prizes from this week after the workshop ends, this coming Saturday. So don't worry, we have all the names written down. You will be getting all of your prizes. So congratulations to the 2 of you. And again, there's more chances to win. All you have to do is the accountability assignment, and we got you covered. Now, remember, in the files section of the Facebook group, you will find the workbook if you still need to print it out. In the guides section, you will find the replays, but also you'll be getting the replay email sent out tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. So look out for that. So everyone, remember, send those 14 to 18 connections. Nancy is going to drop the Facebook link one more time. If you are not yet if you're not yet in the Facebook group, click on that link, request to join so you can get all the information that's in there. Remember, we're meeting tomorrow, 1 p.m., same time. We are going to be going over what you actually should say in a message to those new connections that you're now going to have to book more sales calls, close more sales, and grow your business. So everyone, love and gratitude. We hope you enjoyed day 2. We'll see you tomorrow for day number 3. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you.